Welcome back to Are You Smarter Than a Libertarian? The only podcast that makes you question everything you thought you knew about freedom and make you laugh while doing it. I'm your host, Jeff, and today, oh baby, we're diving into the deep end of the justice pool. But don't worry, I brought floaties for everyone so you won't drown. This is part 5 of our minarchism series, Law, Order, and Justice, Policing and Courts in a Minimal State. And by minimal, I don't mean like your ex's effort in the relationship. I mean minimal as in just enough government to protect your rights, but not enough to ruin your weekend barbecue. Let's talk about courts, and that magical unicorn that is libertarian justice. Who protects and who serves? That's the first question we have to ask, and it's the foundation of this. In a libertarian minimal state, the police have one job: protect people from force, fraud, and theft. That's it. No more ticket quotas, no more victimless crime crusades, no more raids on grandma's backyard because she grows a suspiciously happy-looking plant. This means policing becomes protection, like a security guard on steroids, with a badge, a brain, and a contract. That's where privatized policing enters the chat. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jeff, privatized police. What is this RoboCop for? Relax, Karen. This isn't Minority Report. This is common sense with a libertarian flavor. Now, imagine this. You live in a neighborhood. You and your neighbors pool funds to hire a private security company. If the guards slack off, you fire them. If they break the rules, you sue them. Try doing that with government cops. It's a lot harder, and the government has very, very deep pockets. The power dynamic flips. Suddenly, the police work for you, not the mayor, not the union, and not the state. You become the customer, and you get service, not suspicion. The great catch-all for everything that is not a crime. Victimless crime equals victimful government. Okay, let's take a second and talk about victimless crimes, the greatest oxymoron since government efficiency. Victimless crimes are those things the state punishes where nobody's rights were violated. Smoking a joint in your basement? Ticket. Running a poke game in your garage? Raid. Selling raw milk? That's right. FBI kicks in your barn door. And that's all happened. We've created a system where consensual adult behavior becomes criminal. Not because someone was harmed, but because someone in DC disapproves. Libertarians, and I've said this pretty much my entire time, no victim, no crime. You want to gamble? Go ahead. You want to buy a weird mushroom from your shaman friend Steve? That's on you. Just don't rob, defraud, or hurt anyone. When police focus on real crimes, actual violence, theft, coercion, they suddenly become way more effective. Like your phone battery when you stop using TikTok. Boom, full charge. The next one we get to is courts without kings. So you might be saying, so what about courts, Jeff? I'm glad you asked. In a minimal state, courts exist to settle disputes, enforce contracts, and administer justice when rights are violated. But here's the twist. They're not monopolized. The entire court system is a monopoly. Enter private arbitration and dispute resolution. We already do this in business. Ever read the fine print when you join a gym or open a bank account? You probably agreed to binding arbitration. That means if you sue, you're not getting Judge Judy. You're going to a private, neutral third party to work it out. It's fast, it's cheap, and it doesn't involve the taxpayers. Everyone wins. And it sure beats waiting 18 months to be told, sorry, we lost your paperwork. You could have multiple arbitration firms with different reputations. Want one known for fairness and speed? Cool. Want one that leans religious or community based? You got it. Competing justice, just like competing food delivery apps, but with fewer soggy fries and more due process. Now we get into the what aboutisms. Yeah, those are going to be talked about here. Okay, time for the skeptics. The what about crowd. But Jeff, won't private cops turn into vigilantes with a logo? Cops already are kind of vigilantes with a logo. It's a logo of the city. But that's a valid concern. But no, we're not talking about Mad Max with a business card. Private protection services operate under contract law. You break the law, you get sued. And in a libertarian system, courts exist precisely to resolve that. Plus, here's a fun fact. Public police face way less accountability than private security firms. Try suing a cop for misconduct. You'll run into qualified immunity faster than a government surplus tank at a peaceful protest. In the private model, if Officer Buck goes rogue, he's liable. So is his employer. You don't need protests, you need contracts and courtrooms. But Jeff, won't rich people get better justice? Newsflash there, genius. They already do. In the current system, money buys lawyers, time, and influence. The difference. In a libertarian society, everyone can choose their own provider. Courts are accessible, affordable, and voluntary. Plus, communities can crowdfund legal aid services. And what's that called, everyone? Mutual aid. Real community support, not some bureaucrat's slush fund. The virtue of voluntary order. What we're really talking about here is voluntary law and order. I know, voluntary is a great thing, isn't it? Society should be based that way. Oh, wait, that's the way it needs to be. A society that believes people are smart enough to pick their own cable provider might also be smart enough to pick their own security service and dispute resolution method. Contract law is great. Contract law should exist for everything, even marriages, everything. And here's the kicker. Competition breeds ethics. You might be saying, why? Excuse me. If your security company abuses power, you're out of business. If your arbitration firm plays favorites, clients leave. If your court system turns corrupt, reputation tanks. Contrast that with what we've got. A system where cops can kill dogs, raid wrong houses, and walk away with a paid vacation. We don't need to defund the police. We need to disempower the monopoly. Let protection be protection. Let justice be justice. Strip out the politics, the pandering, and the punishment for profit model. Are we smarter yet? I would hope so after this series. So, are you smarter than a libertarian yet? The answer should be you're just as smart as one. We believe in law and order, just not your law and not their order. We believe in rights, contracts, and real accountability, where force is used only to protect, not to control. A minimal state doesn't mean no rules. It means no rulers. And if that freaks you out, just remember, Taco Bell and Chipotle both serve burritos, but you still like having a choice. Why should justice be any different? Catch me tomorrow as we wrap up this minarchism series with our grand finale. Until then, stay free, stay skeptical, and remember, if the government can't find a victim, maybe you're not a criminal. You're just inconvenient. Thank you very much for watching. New videos drop every day. My podcast can be found on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio Podcast. Until next time, stay free, stay informed, and stay accountable.